Jamere, you breaking in my house? Like, are you serious? You breaking in my house, Jamere?
Why would I break in your house?
Why are you at my door with gloves on and all that?
That person lingering around the outside, hat on, mask over his face, and a long blonde wig.
Need the streets to talk. We need to find the person who killed Patrice so she can have some justice.
Why did you do this to my child? Why did you do this to my family? Why? Why? How would you like somebody to do that to your mama? I can say to you, I don't understand you. What kind of person are you? Where you come from? Who can even support you?
She knew, let me say that again so it lands the way it should. She knew. She had it written down in a private note on her phone, not in a text, not in a voice memo, not in a conversation with her best friend. A private note to herself, dated December 1st, 2021. And what it said was this: I'm in love with a man who hurt the mother of his child, his previous ex, a pregnant nursing student, gone missing 12 years before Patrice ever got involved with him. Never found, and Patrice had figured it out. Quietly, on her own, typed it into her notes app like a confession she wasn't ready to say out loud, and then kept loving him anyway. Now, I'm not here to judge that, because we have all held on to something we already knew was costing us. We have all talked ourselves out of what our gut was screaming. So I understand it. What I don't understand, what I will never be able to make sense, is what he did next. Because when she finally did leave, when she finally decided she was done and started moving on with her life, he put on a wig, a whole blonde wig, glasses, a mask, a hat, a backpack, because apparently this man was really committed to the bit. He sat in the parking lot of her job for 2 hours. 2 hours in that wig, waiting for one woman to walk out. She had just finished a night shift. She was on the phone with a friend. She was walking to her car. She never made it home. This is the story of Patrice Wilson, and we are not rushing through it. Before any of this, before the investigation, before the headlines, before her name became a hashtag people shared with shaking hands, Patrice Latoya Wilson was a 29-year-old woman from Detroit, Michigan, who worked the overnight shift at Detroit Receiving Hospital and still had the energy to FaceTime her son before he went to sleep. Every night, without fail. Her co-workers knew about those calls. They knew about her son, Tyrese, 7 years old, full of personality and completely her whole world. They said she used to put her phone up during breaks so they could see him. Like she couldn't help showing him off. Like he was the best thing she had ever done. And she knew it. She graduated from Oakland University with her nursing degree, became a registered nurse at Detroit Medical Center, rose through the ranks at Detroit Receiving Hospital, the same building where her mother Rosalind also worked. Think about that for a second. Mother and daughter, same hospital, same halls, every single day. Patrice was also a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, a KA. And if you know anything about that sorority, you know membership is not given, it is earned. She earned it at Oakland University, and she carried it with pride for the rest of her life. In December of 2019, Patrice and her best friend Deandra Brown co-founded something called Nursing from the D, a platform built specifically to celebrate Detroit nurses, connect them, and show the world what that community looked like from the inside. Joy, dedication, community. That was the whole point. And it was a passion project that reflected exactly who Patrice was, someone who genuinely loved her people and wanted to pour into them. She was building. That is the only word for it. A career, a platform, a future for herself and for Tyrese, working overnight shifts and still showing up for everything that mattered. That is not easy. That takes a specific kind of woman. And that is exactly who Patrice was. Her co-workers described her as sweet, driven, the kind of person who did her job and went home to her kid and made it look effortless even when it wasn't. Her sorority sisters called her a mentor, a role model, a friend. Her grandmother Pamela said she had a personality you couldn't find anywhere else, a person who genuinely cared, laid back, beautiful soul. That is who we are talking about. Hold that. Patrice and Jamere Miller, jeer to everyone who knew him, had been in an on and off relationship for about 3 years. And look, from the outside, the relationship had its moments. There were genuine ones, outings, dates. They even had custom jewelry made together at one point. The kind of thing you do when you actually believe in something. But Jeer had a whole history that had nothing to do with romance. Angster, mission, Facebook profile, Cash King Jeer, and a criminal record that included weapon charges, substance charges, assault, DUI, eluding police, and documented domestic violence. By the time he was in Patrice's life, he was not a stranger to law enforcement. He was on probation. He was on bond, multiple cases, multiple counties at the same time. This man was juggling court dates the way most people juggle errands. And Patrice, who was sharp, who was educated, who had built something real for herself, made the decision that she was done. She tried to end things, and the moment she did, he lost his mind. Not loudly, not immediately. The way a person who thinks they're strategic does it. Slowly, persistently. Like he was running a campaign, he started sending flowers, gifts, showing up uninvited. Patrice did not throw a single thing away. She left every flower, every gift right there on her doorstep, untouched, where he could see them every time he came back. That was not carelessness. That was a message. She was telling him deliberately, clearly, without saying a word, I want nothing from you. Take this back. He kept sending them anyway.
She dated him for a while, and she been trying to get away from him because she know he was toxic for her. I've been telling him.
She knew he was toxic. Her own mother said it. Patrice had told her directly. She knew she was trying to get away. She was doing everything right. But here's the thing about a man who refuses to accept that something is over. He does not care what you are doing right. In 2021, 2 years before any of what you're about to hear, Patrice's Ring doorbell camera caught something. A figure at her front door in the middle of the night, masked, wearing gloves, trying to get inside. And Patrice, half asleep probably, looked at that camera feed and immediately knew exactly who she was looking at.
Jamere, you breaking in my house? Like, are you serious? You breaking in my house, Jamere?
Why would I break in your house?
Why are you at my door with gloves on, all that?
Sir, gloves on, mask on, at her door, in the dark. And his response was, why would I break in your house? Sir, the gloves, the mask, the fact that you're there at all, that is why. Patrice posted that footage online. It spread everywhere, 1.4 million likes on TikTok alone. People were watching it, sharing it, commenting on it, and almost nobody understood what they were actually watching. They saw a viral moment, a messy ex caught on camera. They did not see a warning because on December 1st, 2021, the same year that footage went viral, Patrice opened her phone and typed something in her private notes, something she never showed anyone, something she never said out loud. I'm in love with the man who hurt the mother of his child. She knew something about Jeer, about his past, about what happened to a woman named Bianca, the mother of his son, who had gone missing a decade earlier and was never found. We are going to come back to that because it matters more than almost anything else in this story. But right now, stay here. Because even after that doorbell footage, even after that note, even after everything her gut was already telling her, Patrice kept trying to move forward, kept working her overnight shifts, kept building nursing from the D, kept showing up for Tyrese and Jamere. In February of 2023, authorities searched his apartment and found weapons and substances. That one incident alone resulted in 14 separate charges against him. 14. He was already on probation, already on bond, and now 14 more. A reasonable person looks at that and thinks, okay, he is drowning. He is going down, but this is over. Jamere Miller looked at that and apparently thought, let me make a Facebook album. April 28th, 2023, he created an album on his Cash King Jamere profile, titled it Me and P. P for Patrice. And he started uploading 53 photos, 27 videos. First batch, then 35 more photos, 6 more videos, same day. May 3rd, another 39 photos, 15 more videos. By the time he was done, the album had 175 items in it. Photos of Patrice cooking, Patrice sleeping, Patrice just existing in private moments she had no idea were being documented. Now I need you to think about the timeline here. She had left him. She was done. He had 14 new criminal charges. And instead of doing literally anything else with his time, this man went back through years of photos and videos of a woman who no longer wanted him and uploaded them to a public Facebook profile. One of the photos he posted and the two of them together had a caption. It said, I'll rather try hard than give up. Real man. On May 12th, 2023, one day before everything, Jamere posted a photo of himself. And the caption read, trying to be the helping hand to our community. Helping hand to the community. The next morning, he got dressed and put on a blonde wig, a hat, a mask, a pair of glasses, packed a backpack, and drove to Detroit Receiving Hospital, where Patrice was finishing her overnight shift. He was in that parking lot for 2 hours before she ever walked out. 2 hours. Waiting. 2 hours? Let that sit. He was in that parking lot for 2 full hours before Patrice ever walked out of that building. 2 hours in a blonde wig, a hat, a mask, glasses, a backpack, moving through that lot like he was just another person going about his day. Cool, calm, patient. And that patience, that is the part that should make your skin crawl, because impulse looks like a one thing. Planning looks like something else entirely. And what Jamere Miller did that morning was not impulse. The hospital security cameras caught every second of it.
You're looking at the outside of Detroit Receiving Hospital the morning of May 13th. Look at that person lingering around the outside. Hat on, mask over his face, and a long blonde wig.
I need you to understand something about those cameras. That footage was being recorded in real time while this man stood in the parking lot of a hospital, dressed as somebody else, waiting for one specific woman. The security system was watching him. The footage was there. The evidence was being created live in front of a recording device. And not one person picked up a phone. Not in hour 1, not in hour 2, not a guard, not a protocol, not an alarm, nothing. Not a single thing that was supposed to exist in that hospital to protect the people who work there. Nothing moved. We're going to come back to that, because Patrice's family absolutely did not let it go. And good. They should not have. But right now, May 13th, 2023, Mother's Day weekend, 7:40 in the morning. Patrice had just finished her overnight shift. She was on the phone with a friend, walking to her car, probably counting down the minutes until she could get home to Tyrese, tired in the way that only night shift nurses understand. running on adrenaline and love and the quiet relief that the shift was done. She never saw him come, and Jamere approached from the back passenger side of her vehicle. He fired a handgun. Multiple times, the friend on the phone with Patrice heard her scream. Then the line went dead. He got into the driver's seat of her car, the one she paid for working overnight shifts at a hospital that was supposed to be safe, and drove away. With her inside, like she was cargo, like she was something to be relocated and dealt with later at a time and place of his choosing. He drove approximately 30 miles from that hospital parking lot, through Detroit, through Inkster, where he pulled into a car wash, took off the wig, took off the hat, peeled off the mask, and cleaned the vehicle.
Death. Another camera at a car wash in Inkster showing Miller getting out of her vehicle. This time, no hat, no blonde wig, no mask. He is taking her car through the wash, washing away evidence.
A car wash. This man shot her, drove her body across multiple cities, stopped at a car wash to rinse off the evidence, casual as a Tuesday errand, and then kept going. I need you to feel the coldness of that. Because that is not just a crime. That is someone who thought about what came next. He ended up at her apartment complex in Novi, the Pavilion Court apartment homes near a 275, her place, her lot, her car. He left her in the trunk and walked away. While all of this was happening, while Patrice was already gone, her mother, Rosalind, was standing in front of cameras, holding her daughter's photo, pleading, begging the streets to talk, saying the words no mother should ever have to say out loud, let alone on Mother's Day.
Son cannot hold her and say Happy Mother's Day to her today. That bothers me.
And Patrice's mom, Rosalind Livingston, wants it to bother you too.
She did not know yet. She was still hoping, still using the word find, like Patrice was just somewhere nobody had checked yet, like she was going to turn up. Like this was still a story with a different ending. Rosalind was out there fighting for her daughter's life, not knowing her daughter was already in the trunk of a car 30 miles away. On May 14th, on the day after Mother's Day, police located Patrice's vehicle at her own apartment complex in Novi. When officers searched it, they found her in the rear of the car. Multiple gunshot wounds. She was 29 years old. Tyrese was 7. Detroit Police Department came with everything they had. Major Crimes Division, Organized Crimes Division, Homicide Unit, Fugitive Apprehension Team, Special Response Team, Headquarters Surveillance, the 3rd Precinct, Michigan State Police, Wayne State University Police, Inkster PD, Novi PD. Search warrants executed across Detroit, Inkster, Garden City, and Novi. Jamere's face on every local news channel and every timeline in the city. The man had nowhere to breathe. On May 14th, he felt the walls closing in, negotiated his surrender through his attorney, and turned himself in. Because apparently that is what accountability looks like when you have no other options left. On May 15th, Detroit Police Chief James White stood in front of cameras and confirmed what the people who love Patrice had been trying to tell anyone who would listen for years.
He's a very violent person. He has a significant criminal history. And there is a history of domestic violence associated with that as well.
Significant criminal history of domestic violence. From the police chief at a press conference about a man Patrice had spent 3 years trying to untangle herself from. A man who was on probation, on bond, facing 14 separate charges from a separate incident, and still thought showing up to her job in a costume was a reasonable next move. But then Chief White said something else. Something that ripped open a wound that had been sitting untouched for over a decade. He confirmed that investigators were now looking into Jamere's possible connection to another woman. A woman who had been missing since 2011. A woman nobody had been able to find answers for in 12 years. Her name was Bianca Green. Bianca was 24 years old in 2011. A nursing student, yes, a nursing student, because the pattern in this man's life is not subtle, at Wayne County Community College. She was 6 to 8 weeks pregnant with her second child. She had a 4-year-old son named Jamere Jr., named after his father, named after Jamere Miller. Bianca had spent an entire year trying to leave Jamere before she disappeared. She had physically moved and hidden her location from him because she was afraid of what he would do if he found her. On March 25th, 2011, she was last seen at her mother's workplace in Inkster. She has never been found. About a year after she vanished, Jamere appeared in a video, holding his son Jamere Jr. in his arms, looking into the camera, asking the public to help find Bianca, talking about how hard it was being a single father, saying he never gave up hope. The same man, the same face, the same mouth. He was never charged. Now go back to that private note, the one Patrice typed on December 1st, 2021, and never showed a single person. I'm in love with a man who hurt the mother of his child. She had figured it out. Sitting alone with her phone, in a quiet moment, she had connected something that 12 years of investigations had not been able to prove in a courtroom. And instead of telling someone, instead of leaving, instead of doing any of the things we would all say we would do, she typed it into her notes app and closed the app and kept living. I have sat with that note for a long time. What she knew when she figured it out, what she told herself it meant, whether she believed she could handle it, whether she thought love was enough to make it safe. Bianca Green's family had been waiting 12 years when Jamere's arrest for Patrice's death hit the news. And those 12 years came flooding back like no time had passed at all. Bianca's family said she never would have walked away from her son voluntarily, that Jamere Jr. was her Velcro, their exact words. She would not have left that child. They always knew something was wrong. They just could never prove it. As of today, Bianca Green has still not been found. Jamere Miller has not been charged in connection with her disappearance. I need you to hold that as this story ends. 2 women, both nurses or nursing students, both mothers, both trying to leave the same man, both ended up gone. Now, the hospital.
They say that Patrice Wilson's alleged killer was seen on video acting bizarrely, lurking around the parking lot for hours. They say it's all on surveillance camera and security did nothing to intervene.
2 hours of footage. A man in a full disguise in a hospital parking lot recorded in real time. And not one person caught it while Patrice was still alive to be saved. The family's attorneys also stated that the hospital did not call police until 2 hours after Patrice disappeared, 2 hours after she was already in the car and driving away. And they said directly, publicly, on camera, that they believed the delayed response was racially motivated, that had she been a white nurse, someone would have moved faster. I am not here to make that call for you. What I will say is, the question was asked by her family on what would have been Patrice's 30th birthday, August 1st, 2023, when they stood together and announced a $200 million lawsuit against Detroit Medical Center and Tenet Healthcare. Her 30th birthday, spent filing a lawsuit, because that is what you do when the grief is too big to carry alone. And the system that was supposed to keep your daughter safe watched her killer standing there and did nothing. On June 1st, 2023, Jamere Miller was formally arraigned on 11 charges. First-degree homicide, felony homicide, carjacking, armed robbery, felon in possession of a firearm, 5 counts of felony firearm. He appeared via Zoom, because of course he did, and entered a not guilty plea.
Mr. Miller, there are some bond conditions. One, you're not to have contact with any witnesses in this case. Do you understand that?
Yes.
not guilty. Sir, hospital surveillance footage of you in the parking lot. Car wash footage of you cleaning the evidence. 14 separate charges from a completely different case you were already facing. A criminal history so documented that the chief of police read it at a press conference. The phone records, the witnesses, all of it. And you sat on that Zoom call and said, not guilty. Okay, Jamere. Okay. On October 10th, 2023. Jamere Miller pleaded guilty to 1 count of second-degree homicide. The remaining 10 charges dismissed as part of the plea agreement. 35 to 60 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections. He will be 71 years old before he can even be considered for parole. Sentencing, November 7th, 2023. Judge Kevin Cox, Frank Murphy Hall of Justice, Detroit. And Patrice's family walked into that courtroom, every single one of them, with something to say directly to the man who took her. November 7th, 2023. Frank Murphy Hall of Justice, Detroit. Judge Kevin Cox presiding. Jamere Miller sat in that courtroom, and one by one, Patrice's people stood up and walked to that microphone. Her mother, her grandmother, her best friend, and first cousin, Tyrese Berry, the father of her son, Tyrese Jr., her uncle, her cousin's mother, every single person who had been carrying the weight of May 13th since the moment that phone call went dead. They had things to say. Rosalind Livingston's statement was read by her attorney. Because some grief is too heavy to carry to a microphone yourself, and right there in the middle of it, she brought the note back. The one Patrice typed and never showed anyone. Rosalind found it going through her daughter's phone after she was gone.
I can say to you, I don't understand you. What kind of person are you? Where you come from? Who can even support you?
Pamela Golden, the grandmother of Patrice Wilson, speaking directly to Wilson's killer in court today, her then boyfriend Jamere Miller.
The private note, read aloud, in a courtroom by Patrice's mother. The thing Patrice never said to a single living person. Her mother said for her, in front of a judge, in front of Jamere, in front of everyone who was in that room. Show no mercy. Then Khalees Thomas, Patrice's best friend and first cousin, stepped up, told Jamere directly that he had not shown 1 ounce of accountability since May 13th, that his nonchalant attitude in that courtroom made her sick to her stomach, that every time his cell door slammed shut, she hoped it reminded him of exactly what he did. That the void he created will never be filled, and that all he has left now is prison. Then Tyrese Berry walked up, Tyrese Jr.'s father, a man who had watched Jamere circle Patrice's life and had tried to warn her. And what he said in that courtroom was different from every other statement in that room, because he was not just grieving. He was angry in the specific way that only someone who warned her and could not make her hear it fully understand.
I think about our last moment. It hurts so bad that we can have put our mothers in this situation. I truly do.
You told what you loved her? How could you love a person and you took her away? How? Is that love? Is that really love? Why did you do this to my child?
What did you do to yours in a courtroom, on the record, in front of a judge and everyone in that room? Tyrese Berry looked at Jamere Miller and asked him publicly, directly, with zero ambiguity, what he did to Bianca Green, the mother of Jamere's son, Jamere Jr., the woman who had been missing for 12 years. Jamere sat there and said nothing. Then Patrice's grandmother, Pamela Golden, stood up. Now, I want you to understand something about grandmothers. They have earned the right to say exactly what they mean. They have watched enough of this world to know when something is beneath comment and when something requires them to stand up and speak directly to the person who caused it. Pamela Golden walked to that microphone and she spoke to Jamere Miller without a single filter. And what she said was not composed. It was not polished. It was real. It was the rawest thing in that entire courtroom.
Why did you do this to my child? Why did you do this to my family? Why? Why? How would you like somebody do that to your mama?
You ain't fit to live. From a grandmother in a courtroom to the man who put her granddaughter in a trunk. I don't have anything to add to that. Jamere Miller also had a statement. He started reading it himself and could not finish it. His lawyer had to step in and read the rest for him. And in that statement, he disclosed something that I genuinely have not been able to shake. He said that after he shot Patrice, she tried to tell him how to stop the bleeding. She was a nurse. She had spent years walking into rooms where people were injured and knowing exactly what to do. She had that knowledge in her body. And even in those final moments, that instinct did not leave her. She tried to save herself. She tried to give him instructions on how to help her. And he drove to a car wash. Judge Kevin Cox sentenced Jamere Miller to 35 to 60 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections. Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy said it plainly. 35 years is not enough for a life. It is not, but it is what the plea agreement carried. Jamere Miller will be 71 years old before he can ask anyone for anything. Bianca Green's case remains open. No charges, no answers. Her family is still waiting. Patrice got a sentence. Bianca got silence. And that is the part of this story that does not resolve. And I'm not going to pretend that it does. Patrice Latoya Wilson was 29 years old. She was a registered nurse, a sorority sister, a co-founder, a daughter, a best friend, and a mother. And she was good at every single one of those things. Her best friend, Deandra Brown, kept nursing from the D alive, still running it, still posting, still building the thing. They started together in 2019 because Patrice believed in it, and Deandra is not going to let that belief die. Rosalind Livingston established the Patrice L. Wilson Nursing Scholarship, awarded every year on Mother's Day weekend to nursing students who are also mothers, because that is exactly who Patrice was. And that is the kind of legacy that keeps a person's name in the world long after the world tries to reduce them to a headline.
Every Mother's Day, someone will be awarded. Some nurse student that is a mother will be rewarded in the honor of Patrice Latoya Wilson.
Every Mother's Day. A nursing student who is also a mother receives a scholarship in Patrice's name because Rosalind decided that if she could not have her daughter back, she was going to make sure her daughter kept giving to people who needed it. Tyrese is out here growing up, becoming someone. His mama made sure of that, not just by being there for 7 years, but by being exactly the kind of woman she was every single day she was alive. Patrice Wilson deserved to see her son grow up. She deserved her 30th birthday. She deserved to keep building the career, the platform, the life she had fought for with both hands. She deserved all of it. And the fact that she did not get it is not something that I am going to dress up or make sound smaller than it is. Her name was Patrice Latoya Wilson. She was somebody's everything. And we are not going to let her be forgotten. She had that note in her phone for 18 months. 18 months of knowing, really knowing what she was dealing with. 18 months of carrying that sentence around in a private note she'd never opened to anyone. I'm in love with the man who hurt the mother of his child. And she still woke up every day, worked her overnight shifts, built her platform, showed up for Tyrese, and kept going. And then after he shot her, she tried to tell him how to stop the bleeding. That is who Patrice Wilson was, even at the end, even then. So I want to ask you something. And I genuinely want your answer in the comments. At what point in this story did you feel it was already too late for Patrice? Was it the Ring doorbell footage in 2021 that went viral and nobody took seriously enough? Was it the private note she never showed anyone? Or was it something else? Something earlier that the rest of us missed while she was still here? Because this story keeps asking me that question. And I still don't have a clean answer. If this video meant something to you, like, subscribe and share it. Because Patrice's name deserves to be in more rooms than the ones that failed her.